and then they cap it off. This is what the news does. Hi, I'm Chris James, and today we're going to be looking at a study that was performed and it was reported on by CBS that links hair straightening chemicals to uterine cancer. So we're going to be doing a reaction to this video, and without further ado, let's get into it.
In tonight's Health Watch, women who frequently use chemicals to straighten their hair, most of us, may be at higher risk for developing uterine cancer, according to a brand new study.
Now, I think just to get started, I think it's interesting that the news anchor that's reporting on it, she obviously is like has a sew-in or a wig or something, but 9 times out of 10, she probably uses these chemicals herself. So I always find it interesting that news anchors will report on topics that affect them, but then they won't make any change. And I'm not saying that she didn't, but it's just what I've seen in the past. They'll report on things and they'll just, it's basically like in one ear and out the other.
It's a popular way to straighten hair, but chemicals and relaxers may increase uterine cancer risk over time.
These products can contain a lot of different chemicals of concern.
Alexandra White is lead author of a new National Institutes of Health study, which followed more than 33,000 women for nearly 11 years.
Women who reported using chemical straighteners or relaxers had about a 2-fold higher risk of going on to develop uterine cancer.
That's huge, okay? So I have talked about this in the past where, I've actually done videos talking about this. There was a lady, there was an autopsy done on a lady years and years ago where she was she regularly got her hair straightened, right? Permed, whatever. And what they found was there was, when they opened up her skull, there was a green sludge or film mixed in with that fluid that your brain is suspended in. You know what I'm saying? And what it was linked to was the chemicals that she was putting in her hair to relax her hair to get that look, was also affecting the solution that her brain sits in. So let's just think about that for a second. The impact that having those chemicals literally leaching into the brain via the fluid that the brain that it sits in, it's constantly leaching these chemicals directly into the brain. Just imagine how that might affect her hormonal balance, her thought processes, how she interacts with people, right? Like very erratic behavior can come from this. There's all sorts of things that you might experience from, putting this stuff on your head.
White says that estimate is for those who've reported using the products more than 4 times in the previous year. A majority of those who reported using the straightener in the study are Black women. In 2022.
Now we're getting into it. So the women that are mostly affected by this are Black women, of course. Why? Because who else straightens their hair? We have the most naturally curly hair out of everybody. So who else would be using these products? So all of the disease and all of the imbalances and everything that's attached to these products is affecting our community of women at grossly higher rates than anyone else. And remember, we're talking about uterine cancer, right? This is infertility. This is painful menstrual cycles. This is all of the things, fibroids. This is all the things that our women are experiencing exponentially. And it's all coming from wanting to straighten your natural hair.
The American Cancer Society now estimates there will be nearly 66,000 new uterine cancer cases in the U.S. And mortality rates from the disease are rising, particularly among Black women.
So these chemicals are placed on your scalp and they can be absorbed into your bloodstream, and then they circulate throughout your body.
The same researchers.
So one thing that I found out, because I had my cousin come on last year or maybe a year and a half ago and talk about these things. Okay, so first of all, anything that you put on your hands, your hair, your feet, whatever, it will be absorbed into your bloodstream, okay? The skin very readily absorbs stuff. whether it's the moisture from air or whether it's a chemical in a lotion. So we have to be cognizant of what we put on our skin. My rule of thumb is if you're not willing to put it in your mouth, you should not put it on your skin. Now, I know that would screw up a lot of y'all's hair care products and things that you do, but to avoid cancer, maybe it's worth it, right? Also, obviously, there's a way to mitigate risk, right? When you go to a professional and you have your hair done, there are certain standards for how this stuff is supposed to be applied to keep it away from the scalp for this very reason, you know? And I know a lot of women out there who probably watch my channel, you guys know chemical burns, you know what that smells like, you know what it feels like. You know, we've all felt it. You're not even supposed to experience that, and yet it's such a regular part of our culture. We all know what it is. Even men, we know what it is, we know what it smells like, because we're not even applying this stuff properly. So on the simple fact that you shouldn't be using it at all, okay, that's one point. The other point is when we do use it, we're not applying it properly. And even for those who are applying it properly, it's still going to leach into your bloodstream. It just may not leach. It may not have the biggest impact, but especially over time, you've been using this stuff for 10, 20 years, it is going to have an impact. Let's keep going.
The same researchers found that permanent hair dye and straighteners may also increase breast and ovarian cancer risk.
You know, a number of factors can influence a woman's risk to go on to develop cancer, but this is one potential source of exposure to chemicals and potentially carcinogens that women could be aware of and could make choices to not use these products.
So we talked about infertility. We talked about fibroids, heavy menstrual cycles. Now she's talking about breast cancer. Why are we dealing with breast cancer at such incredible rates, right? Breast cancer awareness, all of the money that goes into breast care awareness, how is none of that trickling into our community and telling our women, hey, by the way, those straighteners and relaxers and chemicals and dyes, yes, dye as well, all of this stuff that you're putting on your body and in your hair is causing you to have breast cancer. How come none of that research is trickling into our communities and letting our women know? Because our women in the Black community, we're the ones using it the most. It's interesting, right?
Kind of scary when you think about it, right? Listen, other hair products that women used in the study included hair dyes, bleach, highlights, and perms, but the researchers say they didn't find any link to uterine cancer risk with those specific products.
And then they cap it off. This is what the news does. All right? This is how disingenuous they are. So then they name a whole bunch of other chemicals that are just as bad, if not worse, and say, but those don't have anything to do with this. You know what I'm saying? Those didn't, we couldn't find a link to uterine cancer. Well, how about infertility? How about fibroids? How about diseases, mental disorders? How about any of that other stuff? Does any of that other stuff matter? Right? Just because you don't do a study on it, listen, the same chemicals that are being used in hair relaxers and dyes are the same chemicals that are in bleach. They're the same chemicals that are in all the other stuff. It's all the same. If you want to do something with your hair, whether it's, straighten it or whatever, you need to be using a natural technique. There's plants, there's other techniques to stretch your hair. There's plenty of ways to do it where you could get the look without the danger of all of the backlash that comes from the chemicals and stuff in your body, or freaking get a wig. You know what I'm saying? Like, get a wig. You can change your style up anytime. Braid your hair, natural hair down, throw the wig on, boom. Then you can have your straight style. But all of the extra stuff that we're doing to our hair is not just for cosmetic purposes. There is an impact that it's having on your health and wellness. And I've been talking about this for a while. Hopefully this video help kind of shed some more light on it. If you guys enjoyed this video, maybe these reaction videos, let me know. I may do some more of them. With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I will see you all next time.